Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, an extra special welcome to you. My name is Trisha, and this is just my place here on YouTube where I talk about all of my crafting projects, primarily knitting, sometimes crochet, a little bit of sewing, and anything else I get into in between episodes. I hope you're doing well. It has been quite a while since I have recorded a podcast. Life has been a bit complicated, should I say. But, we keep rolling with the punches and we just keep crafting. So, all that to say, I do have quite a bit of things to share with you today. I have a few finished objects, some works in progress, some hand spun I'd like to share with you. And then we will wrap up with a brief life update as well as my plans for Rhinebeck this weekend. So, today, I believe today is the 17th? 16th. Today's Thursday, October 16th, and it is Rhinebeck weekend. So very excited. Let me know in the comments if you are going to Rhinebeck this year. I plan on being there, but again, I'll get into all that towards the end of the podcast. I am getting over something upper respiratory that has had me in its hole for about a month or more. So please bear with me. If this eye looks a little weaker than the other one, it's because I am still recovering from a really bad case of pink eye. So just wanted to get all that out into the open. But again, I'm feeling pretty okay. The usual aches and pains and issues with autoimmune disease. But, again, I'm just keeping it moving. So without further delay, let's get right into the making. So, first of all, let me share with you the things I have finished. I have three finished objects and one half finished object that I'm going to share with you today. And I believe I have one new cast on. No, two new cast on since the last time we chatted. So, the first finished object that I'm going to share with you is the My Reading Shawl. This is a pattern by Kay Jones. She is one of the hosts of the Bakery Bears podcast. And let me show you my finished My Reading Shawl. So, I'm going to hold this up so that you can get an idea for all the colors and how amazing this is. But I'm going to also insert a picture so that you can see the fullness because I know I'm not going to be able to get this in the full camera. Or should I say a full camera shot of this. So here it is. I should have taken these measurements, but I didn't. But as you can see, it it's massive. And so I kind of wanted to do something like a gradient for my shawl. And so this is what I came up with. And I'm going to try it on so you can see just how large this is. I am a US between 16 and 18 clothing size. So I guess that would fit me in the category of larger. I'm trying to be really careful that I don't brush up against the mic. But you can see just how much of me that this shawl covers. I'm going to stand up so you can see even better. So you can see that my arms and shoulders are completely covered and my back is 100% covered and a little bit of my bum too. So it is the perfect little thing to cozy up in on the couch with a cup of hot tea or coffee, a good book, or a really fun crafting project. And I know that I'm going to get quite a bit of wear out of this. I don't even know if this is going to leave the house this winter. I think it's just going to be either here in my living room. It just keeps going and going, trying to pull it out from under me. So I think this is going to stay pretty much in the house unless there's just some amazingly cold day and I need a lot of layers to just um, wrap around me. I could actually try to put this on as a shawl to wear around the neck. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to take this mic off, but I'm going to place it here. So if I talk, you should still be able to hear me. So if I were to wear this around my neck, this is how I would style it. I would start at the center and I would bunch it up a bit as best as I could. And then I would cross it in the back, pretty much the way I wear all of my large hand knit shawls. And my sons are coming in, so you might hear a little bit of noise or see them. Hello. I'm podcasting, so keep your noise down, okay? So this is how I would wear it if I was going to wear it as a neck scarf. So much for keeping your noise down. Looks like they got some groceries. Anyway, I think this looks great. What do you think? To wear it as a neck shawl? Let me stand up again so you can see how much coverage I would get with this. And sometimes with some of my shawls, I will take these ends here and put them in a tie. But this isn't going anywhere. I've even got enough to pour down over my shoulders if I needed to. So I absolutely love and adore this. I do think I'm going to get quite a bit of wear out of it. Excuse me one second. So let me give you a few more details about the My Reading Shawl. The pattern is a calls for you to use mini skeins, and I do have quite a few mini skeins. And I think I'm not sure if I started. I'm not sure if this top part here is a mini skein. I do believe this is something that just a remnant of something I had in stash left over from another project. And then you hold that with the same color throughout. So you're alternating minis all throughout the shawl while you're holding it with the contrast color, which is this. What I chose is this off white from Knit Picks. I believe it's their Hawthorne fingering, but it's their speckled, and I have that on the backward side. So I don't know if the speckle is showing up in here. So that's what I did. However, I found out as I started going through this is that I think my gauge is a lot larger than the pattern, and I just did not have enough yarn, even in a 20-gram mini, to go across and complete a section. So I decided to use scraps and remnants of yarn from previous projects for pretty much 90% of this shawl. And I think it turned out really, really nice. I think I mentioned this before. There's something so awesome about holding two strands of yarn together. You get this really super fluffy and lofty fabric, which is amazing. And the needle size that I use for this is a US 8. I'm not sure what that is in millimeters. This is a 6.5. There's a little piece poking out there I need to clip off. I did not wet block this. I did not steam block it. It really doesn't need it. The stitches, the garter stitch is just showing up so well in all of the colors. And the shawl is also finished off with a picot edge, which took quite a bit of time, but I think it's just the perfect finishing touch. So again, this is the My Reading Shawl by Kay Jones. The next finished object I have is the Seashore Stroll tee by Jennifer Shields Tolan. And here is my finished sweater, ends woven in but not clipped. And this has not been blocked. So keep that in mind as you're looking at it. I may show this again in the next episode, which I hope will not be 2.5 months later. But here it is. You can see the beautiful texture that is in this sweater. So the yoke is completely textured in a very simple pattern. I think it looks complicated, but it was very, very easy to do. And then my intention was to do a pop of color on the collar, on the sleeve, as well as the bottom of the sweater. But by the time I got to the sleeves and to the bottom, I could not find this mini skein that I was using. Actually, I think it was just a leftover from another project. I looked and looked and looked everywhere, and I could not find it until I finished. But that's okay. I still think that one little pop of color looks really, really nice. I am going to wet block this, which is another reason I'm going to show it to you again in the next episode, because I think wet blocking will help the textured pattern to show up even better. And it will also allow the stitches to relax and give me, it's pretty drapey now, but I do think that with the blocking, it will drape and fit even better. The yarn that I used is from Woolen Vine Yarn, and this is her single ply base, although I don't think that's the name of the base. The color is fairy hair. And so it's this really sandy color, which I thought was perfect for the name of the shawl of the sweater, the Seashore Stroll. So I chose that color, and went along with the blue pop of color on the neckline because there are some very subtle speckles in this skein. You can see one right there that's blue, some speckles of red, and um, other tones of blue and pink. It's actually a very, very beautiful yarn, almost kind of moody in color, which I think um, Woolen Vine Yarns is that's kind of like her signature. These really moody, interesting colors. Let me see if I can bring this up a little closer so you can see there. So yes, this was knit on a US 6 for the body of the sweater, and the trim, the neckline, I should say, as well as the sleeves were knit on a US 4 in a 1x1 twisted rib. I believe for the bottom of the sweater, I did not change needle sizes. I tend not to change the needle size for the bottom of my sweaters because I want it to be more like I don't want the ribbing to cinch in. I want it to just flow in with the rest of the garment, which is why I tend to use the main size needle to knit the edging of or the bottom of my sweaters. So I think that's all I have to share with this. Really looking forward to blocking this and seeing how the stitches relax and how much better it fits. It fits really, really nice now, but I think after a wet block, it's just going to fit even better. And I do plan on wearing this throughout the fall. We've had some really chilly mornings and evenings. So something like this over top of a blazer, or under a blazer, I should say, and a pair of jeans and boots, just would be so, so cute. So maybe the next time I record, I'll be able to have a modeled shot of how I plan to style this sweater. My final finished object is the one that I am most excited for. As I mentioned, I will be going to Rhinebeck this weekend. So I do plan on going to Rhinebeck this weekend, and I decided to knit the Drea Renee Knits Rhinebeck sweater for 2025. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's the Ooey Gooey. And here is my sweater. Here's the bottom. There it is in its entirety. This is the front, and this is the back. It's so good. It's so good. It's so many things I have to share about this project. So first of all, let me let you know the yarns that I used. The color changing yarn that I use is Spin Cycle, and I apologize, but I do not know the color because I threw the ball band away. But if I find the ball band or if I find the color, I'm going to put it right down here right now. And the main color that I use is a brand called Durorum Natura, and the base is the Ulysses Sport Weight Base. It is a non-superwash, really toothy wool, but it's super soft, very, very soft. Oh my goodness, I wish you could feel this. If you come to Rhinebeck and you see me in this sweater, feel free to do all the touches and all the feels because it's so amazing. The sweater features a 1x1 rib for the neckline that is done in the color changing spin cycle. It also features some short rows which are built into the ribbing, which is nice. And then after that, you go into this little textured section here. She calls these welts. And she has a really nice tutorial showing you how to do that. The link to the tutorial to do the welts is actually in the pattern. I did not enjoy doing them, but I love the way they look. It's not, I won't even say it's a bit fiddly. It's just, I don't know, it just wasn't fun. So, but I really wanted them. Now, some people have done stripes in this section with the main color, which also looks very, very nice. I have a dear friend who is knitting hers, and she opted to do the stripes instead of the welts. So you do have that option. Then it flows into a very, very fun and simple color work uh, pattern here. Again, so simple, so easy. This color work chart. I just had so much fun knitting this chart. And I find as I'm watching other podcasters, they're saying the same thing, that the chart was just super fun. You knit to your desired length, and then you finish off the sleeves with um, that same uh, pattern that is in the top of the sweater. Although the pattern also calls for you to do welts um, after the color work here. I think the welts are supposed to go like down here somewhere, but I opted not to do them on the sleeve. So that's first sleeve. And the only color management I did with my spin cycle is to make sure that the sleeves, the coloring on the edge of the sleeves matched reasonably well. And I think I did pretty okay with that. One is a little darker than the other, but I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm so pleased with the way this turned out. And right now, I'm going to add in some pictures so that you can see. Um, I'm hesitating because I realized I did not put my mic back on, and I'm hoping that the sound is okay. Otherwise, I'm going to have to re-record this. So let me put my mic back on. And now I'm going to insert a few pictures of me actually wearing the sweater. Okay, so I do realize the sound was much lower when I had my mic off, so I do apologize for that. We should be okay going forward. So again, the Ooey Gooey sweater, if you are going to Rhinebeck, then I certainly hope to see you there. I plan to be on the hill probably about 1:30-ish. I think the podcaster meetup is at 1 o'clock. So between 1 o'clock and 2:30, I'll be there because I might want to get in with the photo for those who made the Ooey Gooey sweater and or cowl. So that's it for finished objects. So let's get into the works in progress. So let's start off with my half finished object, which is a pair of socks. It is a pattern by Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. And here is my sock number one. I'm going to put it on sock blocker so you can see. A little bit better. So let's see here. The yarn that I'm using was a specialty yarn that was from a Nitty Natty Sock Week for 2025, and the dyer is Super Glow Fibers. Absolutely beautiful. I love the way I'm getting got these little micro stripes. Was not expecting that at all. This is not a self-striping skein, it's a variegated skein. But the way the colors pull definitely gave me some striping, which is really, really nice. Here you can see I have my little stitch markers that I put down the center of my sock every 10 rounds so that when I knit my second sock, I can remove the markers from here onto the second sock and making sure that both socks match perfectly. As you can see, I also did a pop of color at the very top of the sock, and that is repeated in the toe of the sock. Don't know if I have my ball band in here. Well, I've been terrible keeping up with ball bands these past few weeks. There is the contrast color. You can see a little bit of that sparkle in there. And this is the main color, which is also sparkly. So, so, so much fun. And I am knitting these as with all of my fingering weight socks on a US 1 needle. And I've got a cute little progress keeper here. I never really moved up, but it's an acorn, which I think is very perfect for this time of year. And happy fall, by the way, my favorite season of the year. And here's sock number 2. A humble beginnings of sock number 2. There you can see that little pop of color there. And moving on into the 1x1 twisted rib. I don't think I mentioned that about sock number 1, or the finished sock. And this is hanging out in this adorable project bag. This was also a special purchase for Sock Week. And this bag was made by World on a String Designs. The theme of Sock Week 2025 was ice cream. Was it ice cream social? And this is one of the bags to mimic like a waffle cone. And then you have the ice cream cones on the main fabric. I love these little splotches of black, and I love this iridescent little hook you have here. You can hold more stitch markers, and this cute little cherry stitch marker came with the bag as well. So again, those are my vanilla socks on Magic Loop, and I'm definitely taking these with me this weekend to Rhinebeck. I will be taking lots of breaks during the festival. And so I will have these with me actually at the festival, working on these when I'm taking my breaks, and I can be productive and hopefully strike up some conversation with some of the other attendees, which is always the highlight of a festival to me. Yeah, so really looking forward to that. I know I said I was going to wait to the end, but I'm just so excited. It's hard not to talk about it. So, work in progress number 2 is a pattern that I have knitted twice before. The name of this pattern is called the Modern Wrapper, and it is a pattern by Church Mouse Yarn NT. And this is the progress I've made thus far. So it is a bottom-up construction, and it starts out with knitting the entire width of the sweater minus the front ribbing. And that's where I am now. And I'm just basically doing a simple stockinette stitch on a US 10 needle. The yarn that I'm using, I'm holding 2 together, is this beautiful color. This is Mondine for La Vie Ennemie. So it's the Mondine base dyed by Lobby and Me, and the color is Amy's favorite lipstick. This sun is kind of like making this a lot brighter than it appears. This is more so like a really deep fuchsia. Nope, that's not better. This is more like a really deep fuchsia with subtle shades of orange going throughout. You can kind of see that there, I hope. And I'm holding it with Rowan Kid Silk Haze in this lovely color, which I would describe as a tomato red. So not sure if this is showing up on camera, but I am getting a really beautiful, slightly marled fabric here. And holding these two together is just a joy. I love holding mohair and fingering weight together. It's such a joy. Actually, I love holding two strands of yarn together, period. So much so that I am toying with the idea of doing a make along, which the whole premise of the make along is that you hold two strands of yarn together in any project of your choice. So I hope to be hosting that with my good friend Rochelle of the Queen's Yarn Boutique podcast. So please stay tuned for more details on that. So anyway, this is where I am. Haven't got quite a lot done, but it does work up very, very quickly. I've been working on my Rhinebeck sweater, so that's been taking up most of my time. But now I will have lots of time to devote to this, which I'm very, very excited about. So again, this is the Modern Wrapper by Church Mouse Yarn and Tea. And this is hanging out in one of my, just got this. This is hot off the press or hot off the sewing machine from Amy Beth of Fat Squirrel Fibers. And this is her mushroom bag. Isn't it cute? So autumnal. I just love these colors. Love, love, love. And then the final whip I'm going to share with you is also new. This is called, I'm going to have to look again because the brain just doesn't want to cooperate today. Yes, it's called the Simply Scrappy Cowl by Helen Stewart. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hold this up so you can get an idea for what it's going to look like because I just started mine and you may not be able to see it very well. So I'll hold up this picture for you. Okay, there we go. I should have held up a picture of the Modern Wrapper for you too, but I probably will no doubt put a picture of it, picture in picture of the Modern Wrapper. But anyway, this is my progress, and I need to put some point protectors on here. This is my progress on my Simply Scrappy Cowl. So far, I've got pinks and purples in here. I'm not being too deliberate about which colors I add in. I have a few here in the bag, in the project bag. This is also going with me to Rhinebeck. So I know I've got some pinks and purples here. I've got this in my bag to put in. This one here, I'm looking forward to adding in, and this here, I haven't added that one in yet. But I don't want all the purples to be together, so I might start in with some blues, or I already have that purple in there. So yeah, and I also decided to put in one of my bags of my Row One Minis subscription. So I will have plenty to keep me occupied on this project while I am away. It's going to be so much fun. So again, that is the Simply Scrappy Cowl by Helen Stewart. And I'm so excited to be able to work on these projects. I'm really excited about the projects I have on my needles now. And now that my Rhinebeck sweater is finished, I can focus on them. And this is hanging out in this adorable project bag. The maker of this is Emma Ball. And look at the kitty cats. Of course, I couldn't resist. Right, Cash? So, so cute. All right. So that is it for finished objects and whips. I feel so rusty since it's been such a while since I've recorded. So thank you for sticking in there with me. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Before I close though, I want to share with you some handspun that I've done since we last chatted. Okay, so the first skein I want to share with you is this skein here. This is I believe this is CBM fiber that I spun up. California Variegated Mutant is the name of the fiber. It's super soft and squishy and bouncy. And this was a bat that I purchased quite some time ago. And I think I have another one of these to spin up. So I need to pull that out of the stash and get that spun up because this yielded about 120 yards. And I would love to have this in maybe a cowl or something. And I might need a little bit more yarn. I think it would also make a beautiful, just a simple beanie. This is a basic 2-ply, and this was when I was practicing my long draw, which is going pretty well, I must say. So really, really excited about that. And you can see it's not perfect, just some thick and thin bits there, but for the most part, we're looking at about an Aran to a bulky weight. Very, very pleased with the way this turned out. Next up is a very similar skein. This was spun also from a bat from a knit spin farm. And again, I was practicing long draw. This spun up so quickly. I did not put a lot of twist in the yarn. I'm not sure exactly what the fiber is. This was done quite some time ago, and I really need to work on taking better notes with my hand spun. But like I said, I do know that it was a bat. There is some silk. There's some stellina. I'm just not sure what the main fiber is. But there we have that. Might be able to do something with the two of these together. No, maybe not. So we have those two skeins. And I'm kind of excited about this because my default spin is usually between a sport to a DK weight. So to be able to get a bulky weight yarn, it's pretty cool. See what those end up being. Now this skein I am super excited about. I got quite a bit of yardage out of this. This was a 4-ounce braid from Nest Fiber. I was with her fiber club some years ago, and this color I think it's Spring Ahead, if I'm not mistaken. So you've got some greens and some pinks and gold, maybe a little bit of orange. So beautiful. I was able to get 340 yards out of this 4-ounce braid. Again, I deliberately spun this very loosely, very quickly. Didn't put a lot of twist in, and for me, that's the key to getting more yardage out of my braids. Um, my default is a short forward draw. Um, and so, yeah, that's that's what we have here. It's so beautiful. It is a 2-ply yarn. Not sure if that's showing up. And really looking forward to this, using this up in a project. I'm thinking this would be so pretty as the color work in a full sweater, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while, or maybe a vest. So I have to start looking up some patterns that I can use these in. So that's it for the hand spun for the week. And I'm very happy to be back on my spinning wheel. Let's do a brief life update. before I close out. So, like I said, life has been life, and health has been very, very challenging over the past few weeks. It looks like I'm adding another autoimmune illness to the existing. Um, I have all the signs and symptoms of psoriatic arthritis in addition to rheumatoid arthritis. So, pain in places I've never had pain before, as well as a rash. Um, so, how fun, right? So, working on treatment for both of those and switching medications to something that will work for both the rheumatoid arthritis and the psoriatic arthritis. Excuse me. In addition to that, you probably have noticed in past episodes, I've been having some issues with my skin. At its worst, it was all over my neck, creeping up my face, which I was fighting tooth and nail to keep it from spreading. So on the back of my legs, really, really present on my arms and hands. And was thinking it was some type of psoriasis or eczema. It turns out it's something a lot more serious. So I won't go into a lot of detail about what it is because I'm not sure exactly what it is, but also in the beginning stages of treatment for that. So lots of doctor's visits, lots of research, lots of uh, I don't know, just lots of time spent wondering what in the world is going on with this body. Um, Doing a lot of research on anti-inflammatory diets and things I can do for myself to feel better and do better and make my daily functioning a lot better. So yeah, that's where I am with that. I guess the biggest news that I have to share is that I was laid off of work on August 9th. So that did not come as a complete shock, but it was extremely jarring nonetheless. This is a job I've worked on for 24 years, very dedicated service. And even though I know that I wasn't laid off because of performance, it stings a little. You know you're not going to be in a job forever, but you kind of hope that after you've been on the job for 23 years that you kind of get to call the shots about how the last 7 or so years will go as I'm heading into retirement age anyway. But anyway, that was not what was meant to be. And even though I don't work for did not work for the federal government. We got a lot of our funding from the federal government, and I just got caught in the trickle down effect. So it's kind of bittersweet though, because like I said, I've been dealing with a lot with health issues, and it would have been very challenging to try to navigate all that with working. So I'm still trying to get used to my new normal. And yeah, so that's where I am. I've had lots of time to knit, lots of time to take care of myself and to catch up on rest. Um, like I said, in and out of doctor's appointments, being able to do that without, trying to coordinate that with the work schedule has been a blessing in disguise, I guess you could say. So we're okay, we're fine. As a matter of fact, my sons, they just got back from the food bank, which has been extremely helpful. I think I see some collard greens in there. We got collard greens a couple of weeks ago, which are so good for you. Um, so that has been a big help. And just learning to live differently with one less income. But things are working out, almost miraculously so. So, so very thankful for that. So very thankful for that. And I really hope to be able to be back to you in another 2 weeks, maybe even less. If I disappear, I think I've said this before, for extended periods of time, then you know that it's probably health related. So, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments if you're going to Rhinebeck. And if you're not going to Rhinebeck, let me know what project you worked on while you were listening to today's podcast. Or you can let me know if you'd be interested in the Better Together Make Along that I spoke about earlier. And as far as Rhinebeck, I will be there on Saturday. And I have a list of vendors I want to see. I will be pacing myself so that I don't get overly tired. Looking forward to seeing hopefully many of you, maybe some new folks that I have not met before, making new friends, and just soaking up all of the beautiful sights, sounds, and scenes of Rhinebeck. It's supposed to be perfect sweater weather, and really, really looking forward to it. So, with that, I will close out. Again, please leave your comments in the comment box. If you like what you saw today, please consider subscribing. And I will see you again in the next episode. Bye bye.